Hey Logan,
Hey, Zach.
so I heard about a new serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running around killing a bunch of people in morgues. Not like dead people, but like the people who work there.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, but I think he's kind of lazy.
Well, I mean, he's killing people in morgues. Sounds like a serial killer to me.
Nah, he's cutting a lot of coroners. Hey, it's Super Bros Super Show. Oh, hey, welcome everybody. This is Super Bros Super Show.
I'm Logan.
I'm Zach,
I'm Logan. Still, in case you were wondering, I don't change.
and this is our, I guess you'd call it a variety show.
Maiden voyage. I mean, variety show.
It's both.
I was trying to finish your sentence after you finished it. Clearly did not work.
So what we do on this show is we just talk to each other. We do the news. We play games. We do dramas.
I sometimes, even occasionally, am on the show.
Yeah, he's our special guest today.
Yeah, and I noticed the roster. I'm the special guest for what looks like the rest of my life. Um, didn't know if you could find anybody else, but
I'm
that's
just like
fine.
imagining the Saturday Night Live. It's special guest Logan Long. Logan. 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 Logan.
For the rest of his life.
And next week we have Logan.
There's just
I
like,
know
well,
you're gonna
everybody
enjoy that. You enjoy it, saxophone guy. Yeah, I do.
everybody's like clapping, at the end, and they're like, good night. And I'm like in a cage. I'm like, good night. Bye. Have
We just
fun.
unplug you for the week.
Pretty much, pretty much. Until we get that clone machine up and running, I guess I am here. So,
So, moving on.
we're moving on from clone machines. Bold move there.
Yep. We don't pull punches, or we do, or I'm not sure what we do yet. This
Okay,
is our first episode.
when do you pull a punch and when do you throw a punch?
I
I didn't
always
realize
throw
you could.
punches. I
I
never
didn't.
pull punches.
I didn't realize you could pull them. They just seemed like a pushing movement to me.
Um,
Is that where it comes from? Like you stop it right before you hit them, and it's a pull.
it's like, yeah, you don't hit them as hard as you can.
So you pull to stop the push.
Kind of.
That what it is?
I guess.
Because every time somebody says pull punches, I just picture somebody like going to punch you and you just grab their arm and kind of pull them.
Um, like the person being punched pulls the fist
Yeah,
towards them.
like they just grab their arm and just pull the guy.
Wouldn't that make the punch worse?
Well, I mean, that's why it's a very confusing metaphor in my mind.
Oh, okay. No, it's the person who's throwing the punch pulls the punch.
Oh, so they push it and then they pull it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it hurts, but who really knows?
Yeah. We are
Well,
off to a good start.
this is hysterical. Comedic gold. Call me Comedy Central.
I'm drowning right now.
Moving on.
What, Logan,
Yeah, Zach,
what did you do this week?
what did I do this week? Well, I have to think through. I did a couple of things. I watched a lot of Frasier. Finished up season two of that.
You're always watching Frasier.
I like Frasier. I took a break to watch some Seinfeld, but I went back to Frasier.
Hmm.
Um, I don't tell those two that I see the other one. They're not, but whatever. They used to run on the same network, so they can't be too mad at me.
Yeah, they're
Um,
both adults. They should be able to.
well, Frasier's really good at talking things out,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much half of the episodes. I started following a Twitter account called Poor Frasier, which just gives
Oh,
you
yes. You
the
told me about this.
yeah, it gives you like little synopses of like Frasier story plots, like ideas for them, kind of like modern Seinfeld does on Twitter. But instead, it's all if Frasier and Niles were poor.
Yeah.
They're pretty great. So, um, caught up on some Colbert Report. I went to a tea shop downtown. That was pretty neat.
Like a new one,
It's
or
like a tea room, so you get like tea with your meal there, and you get like sandwiches and stuff.
if
Um,
people who don't know you, Logan,
I
just know he
love
loves tea.
tea. I love tea, and like they change up the teas that they have every month. They have like three that you can choose from every month, and it's
Like,
kind of
I
a nice.
don't like tea, but you make me
Well,
want to like tea sometimes.
I will get you to like tea. I will throw every tea I have at you until you're teed out.
We can have a tea party.
Yeah, it's like a me party, but with tea. We'll invite only people whose names start with T, and then us. And second thought, that's a really bad idea. Oh, and I played Goof Troop.
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
played
I
with
beat.
our sister.
Yeah, I beat it twice. Once as Goofy and once as Max.
I'm so
We
proud of
switched
you.
positions.
I'm so proud of you guys. I'm not even joking. We
I
used to
have.
play that all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to a few parts and we were like, how did kid version of us solve this? There was one kick puzzle that I spent a good 15 minutes on the blasted pirate ship.
Yep.
And I was like, oh gosh, this is terrible. And then we got to the little cabin room with the steering wheel. And I was like, oh, this is the hardest one in the game. And I solved it in like 3 minutes. And I was like, gosh, dang it. It was the one before that that killed me.
Yeah, I'm surprised about how smart little us were. Now we're just stupid.
Yeah, tell me about it. Keelhaul Pete, by the way, I think deserves a running in one of the hardest bosses.
Ah, he's awful.
Oh, he runs faster than you when he does his little tornado spin,
Uh-huh.
and he goes where you're going, not where you are, and then he'll bounce and then go where you are, not where you're going, and it's terrible.
And then he'll call in
Minions.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you have to go to the room. There's another room right before you fight him where you can get two guns, and I basically just pinned a minion in the corner until he got shot by Keelhaul Pete.
Yeah.
I let him kill his own guys. I don't do his dirty work.
He's known for that kind of stuff. Keyholing.
Petin, you know, the huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that game, if you want to talk game design, that game makes a lot of smart little choices. Like making Max have to hit people twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like unheard of, like two fundamentally different characters. That was a big deal.
Well, you had that in like beat 'em ups, but you didn't have that in like other games, really.
Yeah, well, and in beat 'em ups, it didn't make honestly that big of a difference.
Nah, not really.
It was like you're faster, and you're like, not really. They're still jumping from the side of the screen and shivving my face.
Yeah, I'm still just gonna jump kick my way to victory.
Do
Why
they
do
have
I
enough?
care if I do more damage or if I'm slightly faster?
Yeah. And then I think just the room design and the level designs play with you have to each room is like its own challenge,
Yeah,
and then the level as a whole is like a cohesive puzzle, and I like that.
it's kind of like the most Zelda-ish game that like
I'm gonna say
there aren't
ever.
yeah there, there aren't any. You notice that there aren't many Zelda clones out there, and like this is like maybe the closest thing that there was to a Zelda clone at the time.
I could see it. Yeah. And it was cool because like defeating the enemies, you threw barrels, and then they got smarter about giving you fewer barrels or making you run past enemies to get barrels.
Or using blocks and stuff.
Yeah, or using your gun to push them into the water or off the
Those
side.
guys who could kick blocks, they just ruined puzzles.
There was one puzzle room where there's like two of them in a room, and you just like walk in and you're like, well,
I hope they don't kick something in the first 2 seconds or we're screwed.
Max, can you go pin them with your gun?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
jeez.
that's what we did.
Pretty much. Go pin them. I'm gonna solve this puzzle. Have fun.
Dad, are you gonna come back? No, son.
We had a friend over one night, and we introduced her to Goof Troop, and that's a fun experience.
It is.
Just it's one of those games that you can pretty easily introduce somebody to, so that makes it good.
Yeah, It's one of those games that's co-op and it builds friendships.
It destroys their friendship, though. Goofy and Max will never be the same. Let's face it.
Nope.
Uh, childcare is going to come in and be like, okay, listen,
So
you took your
you
son.
fought two giant caterpillars
We're the
while it was
cousins.
raining thorns.
Yup. It was over. It was over a pit too. I died twice.
Then we went to the haunted castle.
All right, let me get this straight, Max. Your father threw barrels at you,
I tried to catch him.
and then he kicked a block and got you stuck.
We left the room and came back, so it was okay.
And then he deliberately made you ring a bell in front of, quote, nasty pirates so that they would chase you.
That one's a little out of context.
Oh, gosh, I love that game. I think the next task will be to beat it on one player.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. Actually,
In some ways, it's easier, but the challenge is that you have to kill everybody. So you will have more enemies on the screen.
yeah.
I'm going to do it first as Goofy so that I can just beat the tar out of people. I called it Goofy Rage Mode whenever I would kill people really quickly.
Goofy Rage mode.
Yeah, when he's like throwing barrels and they go flying off, and you get like one guy and then another guy really fast, you're like, Goofy Rage, double kill. So that was my week. Yeah, a lot of Goof Troop happened and good deal of Frasier. What about you?
This week I'm moving, so I did a bunch of packing and I did a bunch of avoiding packing.
Mm-hmm.
And I started watching Arrested Development.
Oh,
And that
good
is
show.
good. Like
Good
normally I
choice.
only watch bad
Crappy,
shows.
terrible.
Yeah, because I usually work and I don't want to be distracted, but I want the background noise.
Yeah, I get it.
So I'll just watch really
Power
terrible,
Rangers.
yeah, Power Rangers. uh I tried Digimon, but that
You have limits.
I have limits. Primeval,
I'm evil.
Primeval, or it's like this British sci-fi thing that they used to show on the BBC,
Oh.
and it's like, hey, we have CGI dinosaurs and stuff, but it's TV CGI, so it's not really that great.
Oh man, that sounds wonderful.
Pretty much the plots revolve around, hey, what's the dinosaur this week? Oh, he's at a nursery. This will be fun.
We better watch out. That Neopleurodon is in a nursing home.
But
Oh
yeah,
no.
that's pretty much the plot of that show.
That
And then
Utah
there's time.
raptor's at a traffic stop. What bus did it get on? You better find it.
Was
Boy,
it
I'm
one of
British.
those double decker ones? It is. He's going on tour because it takes place
Oh, in London?
yeah, it's British.
Oh, yes. Of
Everything
course.
takes place in London.
Pretty much. Except for the Ritzy show.
What?
The Ritzy show. The one with the estate.
Westminster Abbey or something?
I don't think
No,
it's
wait.
Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, I got that wrong.
Yeah, Westminster Abbey would be a very interesting show.
Yeah,
It would be. I would watch that. It would just basically be the C-SPAN of Britain. Yeah, Downton Abbey. That's what we're looking.
yeah, that's it. Okay,
Downton Abbey.
I don't
That
watch
one specifically takes place in Downton Abbey.
Oh, that makes sense.
So you watched a lot of Arrested Development.
Yes, and at work, I was playing music, and the Full Metal Alchemist theme came on. So I got in the mood to watch Full Metal Alchemist, so I'm watching that too.
Oh, which one?
I'm gonna go through the first again.
Okay,
That's on Netflix,
I
and
heard.
then I'll go through Brotherhood.
I heard that's the way to do it.
It is. Like
Um,
I definitely think Brotherhood is the better one, just thematically and
did they just pull it together better? Is that what's their secret?
well, okay, so the whole thing, one of the underlying themes is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, or
Yep.
basically
Give and take.
yeah, the law of equivalent exchange.
Hmm.
And that is played throughout the series where everything is pretty much bittersweet. Whereas the first one, just Full Metal Alchemist, the first, because they made it and they caught up to the manga or the comics or
Yeah.
whatever. They're
Oh, people
like,
are gonna be so mad that you said manga or comics or whatever.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, it was nice knowing
I
you.
mean, come on.
That's like
I
saying,
have nothing against the terms or anything, but I call it. It's like saying cartoon for anime or whatever. I mean, it is a cartoon technically. It's just
yeah,
if you want to be more specific, it's anime, and you're like, oh, it's Japanese cartoon then.
it'd be like saying, well, what's the difference between a, what's the real difference between a talkie and a silent film? They're the same thing. You know what I meant.
No, come on.
A moving picture and a horseless carriage.
I'm not gonna get into this now.
I'm just making you
anyway,
sound old fashioned.
anyway, they caught up about halfway through the series. They caught up with the manga, and they're like, "Oh no, what do we do?" And oh geez, I can't remember who created Full Metal Alchemist. Can't remember her name. Anyway, she said, "It's fine. Just go on, do your own thing. I'll write my own thing, and we'll see where we end up."
Oh,
So that's why they made Brotherhood, because she finally finished the manga and they decided to do the canon version, basically.
so I'm going to assume that Full Metal Alchemist is just an alternate world. It's like Earth 2.
You'd be right in more than one way.
Oh my gosh, I want to know.
Things get crazy towards the end. It gets. That's my one gripe, is that it gets really dark. It starts, instead of doing bittersweet, it just goes bitter, and then it just goes crazy. Just stuff is happening all over the place, especially right towards the end. Some guy comes back as a cyborg.
Yes, that is the manga must. Ever since Dragon Ball Z, if somebody dies
and
somewhere in the series, they got to come back as a cyborg.
and it just goes all over the place. Like, okay, I know that there are like cyborg people in the show, but it's never like that obvious that they're a cyborg. Like, he has the cyborg eye and machine gun arm and stuff.
Yes.
It just it starts flying out there, like, and
Uh,
my suspension of disbelief was just broken at one point.
good. Oh, I gotta watch that now.
Okay. Yeah, so watch the first, because they're definitely sister shows, because Brotherhood just kind of glosses over the first half, like up until the point where the stories diverge. They just kind of gloss over it
Okay.
because they're like, "Yeah, you've seen this before. You know what's
Good.
going on."
Oh, good.
And then they start
Digging
getting
in.
back into it. Yeah.
Well, good. That's a smart way to do that
It
too.
is.
Because if you had to rewatch all that beginning again,
Mhm.
kind of slow.
And I got to say, they while they do rush over a few parts, and they don't give they it's kind of a disservice to some of the characters that they just gloss over. But then other times they bring in new characters who are even better than the ones in the first series.
Oh wow.
It's great.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yes, and definitely look out for symbolism. Like when someone dies, like when
Hmm.
a bad guy dies, it's always ironic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I remember from what I used to read a bit of the manga. I just remember every death was like, buddy, what are you doing?
What? Come
I see
on.
that. I see that. You are your own worst enemy. Speaking of cyborg people, I watched Inspector Gadget 2 this week, the straight to VHS.
What? Okay.
Remember that?
Yes.
Oh my
He
gosh.
falls in
Oh,
love with Girl Cyborg.
yeah, G2. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she had like that weird, like tall hat. That is her most
Yeah.
defining trait was that she had a ponytail and a really tall hat.
And no feelings.
Yeah, well, she would what was it she always said? Like her catchphrase was she'd walk in and she's like, "Stop this unlawful and felonious action." And like every time I heard that, I thought like she was a budget RoboCop. Like, you have 10 seconds to comply. Like, I just assume
Murphy?
that I just assume that Spoonerville. No, that's the Goof Troop one. I'm sorry.
Spoonerville.
Spoonerville is the Goof Troop town.
Spoonerville. I forgot.
Spoonerville. I forgot about that. Yeah. That Rocket City or Rocketford or somebody's going to correct me.
Rocket
Whatever it
Detroit.
is. Yeah, Rocket Detroit is basically just another version of Detroit before RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like the gadget, he was a prototype clearly, and then in the second
Because
movie
they
they
put in a
retconned
rubber
everything.
ducky. Why would you put a rubber ducky in a
Yeah.
RoboCop?
No, you gotta give him a torso that can blast off and shoot stuff.
A torso that can blast off.
You gotta give him a jetpack in the third movie.
Yep.
Oh, that was the best one. They decided to tone down the gore, and so it made it all the worse. Oh, and no matter, and because he's RoboCop, naturally he can fire a gun as fast as a machine gun.
Yep.
I'm I'm not convinced that those were anything more than pistols that he learned like the sweet spot for.
Yep. He played Duck Hunt. Where he just like stood up close to Queen.
He would riddle people like a mobster, man, with that pistol.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Oh, so anyway, I watched that and that was a bucket full of laughs. I highly encourage you. I think it's on Netflix, so
You
watch
you
that.
mean Inspector Gadget, not RoboCop?
Inspector Gadget, not RoboCop. You are correct.
Okay.
Um, thank you for. Well, I'm still not convinced that they're not the same person.
Yeah, they're still
I think they,
RoboCops.
I think they brought him back, and then they were like, "What have we done?" And they put him back in to stasis, and then brought him back as RoboCop again. That's my theory.
It's getting too deep for me.
I also like to think that he's one of the judges in Judge Dredd, but the visor's just a stone throw away.
Yep.
Heck, while we're at it, if he has that visor, let's also make him Cyclops.
He's got
Good.
the little LED hat. He just
Yeah.
pulls it down over his eyes.
Universes are colliding, man. Universes are colliding.
So hey, let's get into some activities.
Activities, yeah.
Transition music.
Activities.
I forgot to mention, but I also watched a bit of Pokemon
Good. I watched some too.
because they added a few more episodes on Netflix.
Oh, I watched the Meowth Togepi one. It's
I
one of
don't.
my favorites.
What one is that?
Like where Meowth has the egg and he's really trying to hatch it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then he like Pokemon fights, and like there are all these fights, and then Pikachu just turns around and touches him with his tail and shocks him, and you're like,
Oh
yeah,
right,
and
right.
Meowth, I kind of feel for you. I wanted you to be the father.
Meowth would make a good dad.
He would. And then at the end,
I
it was
love
like,
him.
no, you forget, it hatched and it saw me, so it only loves me. And you were like, well, then why did we go through 15 minutes of useless fighting? Gosh dang it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this quiz is. It's not a Pokemon quiz. It's a Pokedex quiz.
Oh boy. So what's
So-
going on here?
These are all questions based on Pokedex entries.
Okay. All right, man. It's been a while since I've actually cared about a Pokedex entry, so.
Let me just say, some of them are out there.
Well-
Um,
What generation? Is it all generations?
I tried to keep it within like ones that we know, so like the 1st two. Like I played the third generation.
I like the third gen.
I played some of the fourth,
Oh, I didn't like it.
and I like quit at the fifth. I was just like, Sandile with sunglasses. I'm done. It doesn't
That's what
get
sold me.
better than this.
That's what sold me on it. Sandile with sunglasses. Let's do this.
Okay, so I will start the question. Question one.
Okay.
Which is not true about Magikarp, according to the Pokedex entries.
All right.
Scientists studied it extensively to figure out why it splashes.
All right. All right. That one sounds pretty true.
B. They're bony and they taste bad.
I think that one's true. Also terrifying in the Pokemon world.
C. They can only splash 7 feet high.
Don't know about that one.
And D. They can splash over a ding dong mountain.
I'm gonna go with D. They can splash over a ding dong mountain.
Actually, no.
What?
It's B. They're bony and they taste bad.
Wait, what?
That's not in the Pokédex. Like, one generation said that they can
Sorry.
only splash 7 feet high, and then, like, 2 generations later, like, no, retcon, he can splash over a mountain.
I like to think that Magikarp in that generation, like whichever one was first or whatever, were like they can only go 7 feet high here, and that's because all the others like were flying way up in the air.
They're all stuck on the mountain.
Yeah, that's what's just happened.
They
Over
didn't
a
bother to look
mountain.
up there for Magikarp.
Oh my gosh, this changes the way I see him use Splash in Pokemon battles. It does nothing because he's way up in the air.
It's like the most epic looking thing, but no.
And then
It
like a
just gets
section
you a
breaks
little
up.
wet. Alright, question 2.
Okay. All right,
Hoot
I'm ready for
Hoot,
this.
Hoot Hoot,
Oh
the
man.
owl Pokemon, is
Yeah.
able to keep time perfectly because A. Its organs keep time.
Ooh.
B. It switches its foot that it stands on every second. C. Owl OCD. Or D. It's a flippin' owl. He's as wise as crap.
Well, I think his feet, he didn't switch it every second. I thought he switched his feet like every hour or something. But it makes me think something about his internal organs.
That's
I'm gonna
true.
say A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He has an internal organ that seems completely devoted to keeping time.
Whoa.
It
That's
does switch its feet, but he because it only looks like he has one leg. He just switches feet, but it's so fast that you can't tell that he switched foot.
wait. Can he learn Mega Kick? Because that would make so much sense then. He's just like standing there, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute.
Imagine if he like ran, it'd just be like.
He would look like he's just like hovering forward. Oh, that owl.
Okay, question 3.
Yeah.
How fast is Rapidash?
Okay.
A. He can go from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 4 seconds.
It's oddly specific.
B. He can go 0 to 150 miles per hour in 10 steps.
Okay. I guess you'd get that off
C.
in like 6 seconds.
C.
Yeah.
He can go from 0 to 300 miles per hour in the blink of an eye.
Holy cow.
Or D. He can go from 0 to I'm in space now in the time it takes me to finish the sentence.
Well, I need to ask a question.
Yeah.
For D there, is he on the back of a Magikarp?
I'm going to say no.
Oh, then it can't be that, clearly.
No, it can't be.
I'm going to say 4 seconds. He gets up to 100 miles an hour.
Actually, it's B. He can go from 0 to 150 in 10 steps.
10 steps.
Yep.
He is gaining so much speed. I mean, I guess I said 6 seconds.
Well, his name is Rapidash. I mean,
Yeah, but just think with each step, he has to get exponentially faster.
and he has 4 legs, so that's like no time.
Oh. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, I've already used 4. Oh my gosh. to 150. I also loved when people would ride on the back of Rapidash in the TV show.
Uh
There's that one where Ash was doing that, and I was like, what the heck?
huh. It won't burn you if it's your friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
care. It's fire. I still drown in water regardless of how nice I am to
Okay, question four.
it. I'm
Which
ready.
terrifying fact is true about Drowsy?
Mm. This was my go-to psychic Pokemon, by the way.
He is the pedophile Pokemon.
He is terrifying,
He is.
but he has really good defense and special defense. So,
Okay, so which one is true? A, it pulls out dreams through the victim's nose.
oh,
B, it likes to hang around children.
that one is true.
C, it's the descendant of a legendary demon Tapar. Or D, a drowsy never forgets, and therefore never forgives.
I'm gonna say, did you say which one is true?
Yes.
It's the one that he hangs out with children, like near children. He eats their dreams, doesn't he?
Yeah, that is true. But this was a trick question. They're all true.
Oh my gosh.
No, they really are.
He never forgives and never
He
forgets.
never forgets a dream that it eats or
He
that it
eats it and
sees.
he's like, your childhood was terrible.
And it likes to hang around children because it likes their dreams.
Drowsy's the best too, because when you look at his eyes, he looks like he's high. Really, you don't know
He's
the horrors he's
terrifying.
seen, man.
Have you
You don't
seen
know
the
the horrors
episodes
he's
with
seen.
Drowsy in
Oh
the
my god.
show? When he shows up, it is the worst.
Oh man. I want to see an episode of Pokemon that you don't realize is in a dream world until you just see like Drowsy's like slowly creeping by and you're like, holy crap. No, it's eating my dream.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
question five.
I'm doing pretty well. I'm
Yeah,
one
I
for
promise
five.
there won't be any more trick questions after that
Woo.
one.
Or is
Question.
that the trick?
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's a trick. I'll
Okay.
be the judge of that.
Arcanine's Pokedex entry tells us what about the Pokemon world? What insight does it give us?
Okay.
A. Pokemon eat other Pokemon.
It
B.
has to. No.
Pokemon are responsible for natural disasters.
Well,
C. People hunt Pokemon for fun.
ooh.
Or D. China exists.
I really wanted to be D.
It is D!
Yes! China exists in the Pokemon world. It's canon.
It is.
Just like Magikarp over the ding dang mountain in China.
Arcanine is held as a legendary Pokemon in China.
I love that that's a thing.
It is.
I want to see the
It's great.
Chinese Pokedex entries that say, we found it. Yes!
We think it's a legend. Don't question it.
Oh my gosh.
Number six.
Many happy moons for sunny day.
Number six.
Okay.
When Haunter licks someone or something, dot dot dot. A. They relive a horrible memory and then die. B. They get badly poisoned and then die.
I'm seeing a
C.
theme.
They convulse uncontrollably and then die. Or D. They get really sad and then they die. Or E. I don't know, but even Haunter is creeped out by Drowsy.
True that. Well, we know E is true, obviously.
Yeah, but it's not in the Pokédex, so
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna say, like, he licks them and they get poisoned and then they die, because he's poison type too.
actually no, it's they convulse uncontrollably and then
Oh.
they die.
Oh, oh my. Oh my. In this Pokemon world, we've got fish jumping over mountains, we got horses that are going way too fast. We got creepy drowsies that are just creeping everybody out. We got China. Man,
We got China
world is
fire
crazy.
dogs.
This is crazy.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right. Next question, number 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How can you tell if spring is coming soon? A. A
Calendar.
s- well,
No, I'm just saying calendar. I want to challenge your question
that's
before you
not
even
that's
start it.
that's not in the Pokédex.
What the I think the Pokenav should come with a calendar.
I think it does. Maybe I don't know. Listen. Okay. A. Slowpoke starts to feel chilly. B. Ursa Ring wakes up from hibernation. C. Uh, Diglett doesn't see his own shadow. Or D. Moltres just shows up with no flippin' reason and starts shooting fire everywhere.
Ultros.
Yep.
Yep. Dude, that bird was a jerk.
No, he was pretty cool.
I thought he was a jerk.
In the show, he was pretty cool.
Flying around with those flame wings. Don't try to convince me that you don't think you're better than us. I know better.
He showed up at the Olympics, he killed Team Rocket, and then he went back into the Olympics.
Yeah.
It
What a
makes
jerk.
sense. Question
Oh
8.
man. I just like they're like, I wonder when it'll be spring.
Oh, that's when.
So like 4 more weeks, guys. We got like
All right, question 8. Which
yes.
Pokemon is confirmed to glow in the dark?
Ooh.
A. Ghastly because it uses ghost magic.
Mm.
B. Clefairy because it uses moon powers.
Mm.
C. Porygon because it's a video game.
Okay.
D. Raichu because I don't know, he just does.
I'm gonna say Clefairy with the moon powers.
No, Clefairy does have moon powers, but Raichu glows in the dark.
Right? It would. All
Yep.
right. All right. I just picture like you just like walk into a room and there's just a Raichu, the little lampshade on top of his head.
Just like tons of tiny ones stuck all over a kid's wall and ceiling.
Raichu! I'm trying to sleep for Pete's sake.
Okay, number 9.
All right.
You know, Stantler,
Yeah, Stantler.
the deer moose thing. That thing is ugly, man.
It had like eyeballs in its antlers.
Yeah, and it had this huge nose.
Yeah, it did.
Anyway, which is a false statement about Stantler's horns?
Okay.
A. They can distort reality.
Oh.
B. They are the key ingredient in sleeping powder.
Oh.
C. They grow back in an hour if they fall off.
Okay.
D. Stantler can airbend with them.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I don't picture him as an airbender, but I think my gut tells me it's the What was C?
They grow back in an hour?
Yeah, I don't think they grow back that fast, do they?
No, they don't.
Oh, neat. I
Yeah.
remember he had like he could get like Psywave or something.
Yeah, for some reason his his horns bend air and that's what helps him distort reality with his horns.
Oh, so that's how he. Wait a minute. So he bends air, and then that lets him use psychic
And
powers.
that lets him distort reality. I'm not sure. This is what it said.
I just picture like scientists looking at this and like, no, 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 no. He bends air. What
The
a Pokemon
horns.
scientist. He just bends air, and
The
that's how he
horns
uses
bend
psychic
air.
powers. Yeah,
Yeah.
put people to sleep with them. No, I don't think this makes sense. The power of the cranial cortex is not determined by air. No, what are you talking about? You see this here? He bends air, changes reality. That's how it works. Neil deGrasse, get me back on this.
Okay, question 10.
Yes.
In the Pokemon world, people get addicted to A.
Oh.
Snorting gloom spores. B. Gambling with Meowth coins.
Okay.
C. Getting drunk on Miltank milk. Or D. Petting a Wigglytuff.
Dude, petting a Wigglytuff would be the best.
And
Like,
you're right.
yeah, I can't picture. I mean, it's like a balloon with hair. Why would you not? Okay, so people
that,
get
that
addicted to
sounds,
that?
yes. Like they pet it and they don't ever want to stop petting it.
Well, obviously, it's a wiggly tough. You worked hard to get that thing.
Yeah.
Uses pound, makes them flinch.
Does it?
I can't remember. I don't know how.
We're professionals.
Here we are.
Which is not true of an ancient Pokemon that you can revive from a fossil?
Oh,
Okay, so which one of these is not true?
okay.
A. Aerodactyl always goes for the jugular. B. Kabuto bursts from its host when it's old enough.
Oh,
C. Amistar can suck out the insides of its prey just like a spider.
holy cow.
Or D. Kabutops slice opens its prey and lets all the fluids drip out.
Oh man, I hope it's. I'm gonna say the last one. That sounds like way too gory to put in a Pokemon game.
No!
Oh my gosh.
It's
Oh my
actually the
word.
one where Kabuto burst from their host.
Oh, no alien.
Nope.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
they just chill in the ocean.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're actually pretty lame.
I just they were those the ones that looked like they were waving to you, and you're just like, hey, what's up?
No, they looked. You know, Kabutops, the guy who kind of
Yeah.
looked like Scyther.
Oh
It
yeah.
looked like his head,
Yeah,
like
that was
just
right.
his head.
He's just crawling around.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? No, you can go. I don't really care. That's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Final question:
Here we go. For all, I'm betting it all.
Which Pokemon has which Pokemon secretes an acid which can dissolve someone or something to the bone in less than a day,
Oh boy.
and then later it can dissolve the bones?
Oh, whoa. Did you add that?
No.
Then later it can dissolve the bones.
Like it'll
Also,
dissolve the
this is
person to the.
terrifying.
Okay.
Also, it's extra terrifying. He finishes the job. All right, let's do this.
A. Victory Bell.
Okay.
B. Muck.
All right.
C. Arbok.
Okay.
Or D. Drowsy, because you know he does that all the time to get rid of the evidence.
He just has a vat of acid. I'm gonna go with Victory Bell because I wouldn't want to get stuck in that thing.
That is true.
All right.
So all those times that uh what is his name? James is getting eaten by Victory Bell.
Oh my
He
gosh.
is a step from death.
Oh, the poor guy. Oh, that's terrible. That's horrible. Oh my
It
god.
is.
He goes in. I understand why he hates it so much.
Yeah. And
It's
we were
not just like,
laughing at him.
oh man,
We
like
didn't know.
every time he goes in there, he sees death. He stares drowsy eye to eye. There's just a drowsy in there who's like, your time will come.
Tick tock. Tick tock.
He's got a hoo hoo at the end of a chain.
That makes
Oh,
sense. That makes too much sense. Stop being smart.
oh man.
And now we're having entertainment corner. Logan,
All right, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy this weekend.
how was it?
Um, it was. Well, thanks, Zach. It was.
I want to know.
I want to know.
I want to know if I need to see it.
Look, it's a fun movie. I think the thing it has going for it is a lot of the other movies, Marvel movies, humor was just kind of an add-in, like it was thrown in there.
Yeah.
And this one is pretty clearly built around the concept of not taking itself too seriously, which is a good change of pace.
Yeah.
I mean, after you watch Thor, you're like, I really don't want to take something seriously for a while. Um, there's a man in a cape
like,
fighting.
can I make fun of his hair? I can't.
I can't. He's so serious about this. I mean, and then like in Avengers, there were parts that you chuckled at, like, oh, I got that one. I know that reference. But
Yeah, it was an action movie built around catchphrases.
it was.
Hmm.
And this one is an action movie built around jokes.
That's good. I
Um,
like that.
and that's good. I will say that hurts it when they try to do any kind of character development. Um, I'm going to put this out there. Exposition dumps are their main form of lines. Like if it's not a joke, it's an exposition dump.
Oh man.
Groot, man, just all kinds of exposition dumps from him. Good gosh, I am Groot. I am Groot. I am
We
Groot. I am
get it,
Groot.
man.
We get it. Wow. Why don't you? Wow, jerk. um, no, but like every character has like stops and tells you about who they are, which I don't like, with the exception of Star Lord, who they sort of showed everything play out. Um,
Okay.
so his character development is pretty good because you kind of see it unfold. Chris Pratt has great comedic timing. Um, so he was a good cast. I think he's a little weak when it comes to the parts that aren't as comedic, and I'm still not sure if they wanted him to be Southern or not.
Okay.
There are a few parts where he kind of bounces into like not even an accent, just like a little bit of a twang, and you're like, oh, oh. And then some of his lines, he's like, well, there ain't nobody who ain't gonna do nothing, or something like that, and you're just like, whoa, okay, whoa, doesn't kind of fit the way you're saying it,
It's
but
it's like Firefly, where it's
yeah,
sometimes a western and sometimes it isn't.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, they both have long coats. Um,
It's I
Brown coats, man.
watched that show.
So I don't know if you're looking for sort of a change of pace in Marvel movies. This one really does show that you can do something different. Um, it doesn't take itself seriously, so the problems you do run into with it, you can just sort of gloss over. Bradley Cooper, I think, wins the actor of the movie. Um,
Bradley Cooper.
he was
Is
Rocket Raccoon.
he was
Yeah, he
okay.
did a phenomenal job, even though some of the lines were pretty bad, honestly. For Rocket especially. Uh, he did a great job.
I need to see that. You need to come over and take me to the
All
movies.
right, look. All right. You can chauffeur me there. Park, wait in the horseless carriage. I'll go see the talkie. All right, full circle. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I would recommend it.
How many
It's not.
thumbs?
I give it one thumb up. It's not
Mm,
going to stand the test of time. It gets Groot is great. They somehow give you a connection with Groot, which I thought was incredible. I didn't think they'd be able to do that. Um, but if you watch this 5 years from now and then watch it 10 years from now, you're just slowly going to realize it probably won't age well. Um,
okay.
and I'm going to say the writing was bad, but it was a lot of fun. Post credit scene is worth staying for. It's canon. That's all I got to say about it.
We're stealing from other podcasts now. Great.
I'm just saying that it is officially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is a thing. So,
Okay.
another thing about Guardians, I'm going to jump into this. I thought they were going to go for a certain style based off of the opening credits, which were just great.
Yeah.
Because the opening credits, you see the whole mask, you see him, Star Lord walking up, doing all this stuff, and you're like, oh man, is this really going to be serious? And then he starts like dancing around, and you're like, oh, this is great. Like it introduces you to everything you need to know about the world. Like he has jet boots, which they use a few times in there.
Uh huh.
He has tech, which you see, but he sort of dances around and doesn't take it too seriously. So it introduces you to what I felt was everything you needed to know for the movie really well, and it had a nice style to it that kind of had like this 70s vibe, even from like the letter choice down to the color choice.
I
It just
like
felt
that.
kind of funky.
I like
Um,
retro kind of stuff, so I'm on board.
so I thought they would carry that throughout the movie. And there were some scenes where they go back to that halfway cinematic style, but then other scenes where they just drop it completely. And I thought it just didn't feel cohesive from a cinematic standpoint.
Hmm.
I get that some of these like spin around, pan around while Rocket's shooting stuff is kind of cool. Some of these different clips during the action sequences were decent the way they cut it, but I really liked that sort of fixed camera movement, sliding in and out of frames, setting up the frames well. I just thought that was really good, and they totally dropped that, and That would have made everything so much. I would be talking about his style so much more.
So one
It's
thumb up
one thumb up
out of
out of
how
my
many?
two. I'm not a. Let's do it koala style. Two thumbs up out of four.
Okay.
All right.
I get it
So
now. Sorry.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Koalas have two
I was like,
thumbs.
who's koala? Oh, the animal.
Oh, the animal. Oh, that one. Um, yeah. But I hear that you had a game.
Yeah, because I was on a Full Metal Alchemist kick, I bought a Full Metal Alchemist
They
game.
have one.
They have quite a few actually.
All right. What system?
PS2. It's
Mm,
called Full Metal Alchemist and the Broken Angel.
okay.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of bad.
What what kind of a game is it? Let's start with that.
I don't know what you'd call it. It wants to be. Oh, I should say this beforehand. It's made by Square Enix,
Okay.
so I thought, wow, this is probably going to be pretty good quality. And when you go into it, it is like the production values are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it looks nice,
Yeah.
and there's actually hand drawn segments scattered
Ooh.
throughout. Yeah, like it begins really cool. It begins on a train, like one of the first episodes in the series, and the train gets hijacked, but it's like a completely different side story, basically.
Oh, cool. Fun. Fun.
And they're on the train with Armstrong, the really buff guy with the
Oh,
mustache,
yes.
who like flex out of his shirt at any given opportunity.
Yes.
But the train gets hijacked by this weirdly named Liberation Revolution
Hmm.
squad, and they even like Alphonse, the pseudo armor, turns to him and is like, "It sounds like they just slammed together a bunch of names."
Good.
And they're like, Armstrong turns to the Elric brothers, or Ed. He's like, "Aren't you gonna do anything about it?" And it's like, I don't really want to. And then it just cuts to a scene where he's just staring really hard, and it just like makes a
Whoa.
really creepy noise. And then he's
Whoa.
like, "Actually, on second thought, I'll do
Whoa.
it." And then he's like, "Yes," and he flicks out of his shirt and helps him.
All right. So proper character motive established right at the beginning.
Uh
All
huh.
right. All right.
When you actually get to play, it's pretty bad.
What is it like a beat 'em up? Is it like an RPG?
It's kind of a beat 'em up with RPG stuff too.
So like equip items to make you do more damage.
Yeah. And then what's kind of cool, like the beat 'em up parts are actually really bad. Like it feels very mechanical.
I
Like
mean, fitting because that's like half of him. I mean, just so you're
yeah.
aware,
I'm
you
trying to
robotus.
see it, but nope. It doesn't feel right. I'm like, this could be a good point. Actually, no, it isn't. Shut up, Logan.
Welcome to my world.
But like it just doesn't feel right. Like in like Batman Arkham Origins, everything just feels natural
Yeah.
and flowing. In this one, it just feels like whenever you hit the punch button, everything has to stop and he has to throw out his punch. What's cool though is you can do alchemy, and there are like items littered throughout the stage,
Oh, that
and you
you
can
can
go up and
alchemize.
yeah, you can change them into like a spear or a gun or a cannon,
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
and you can tell Alphonse to get on that. Or
So, can somebody play as Alphonse? Can you switch
no,
characters?
it's one player, I think.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you play as somebody who like doesn't have alchemy, what do you do?
Alphonse has alchemy in the show. Yeah, he does. But he
Does he?
mostly just punches people, I
I was
think.
gonna say, like, he punches the crap out of a lot of things.
But like you can give Alphonse a giant lance and he'll run around with it.
Good.
And that's like cool, but then you run out of things to transform and it's boring again.
Hmm.
And telling Alphonse what to do is clunky. It's just kind of clunky. Like if they made a sequel, which they did, I think, it probably wouldn't be as clunky, but right now it's really clunky.
Sounds like a good idea gone a little bit unpolished.
Yeah, basically.
Square Enix, folks. Good ideas gone unpolished.
I don't know. I haven't played much by them. I only played that game with Disney.
Oh man, Kingdom Hearts 3, by the way, are you pumped for that?
All I saw was Big Mountain or whatever
If you okay, have you
while
kept
they
up?
were fighting a Titan from Hercules. I was like, no, I'm not behind this.
All
I like I want to be behind it. I want to believe.
Zach, Zach, if you've kept up with Kingdom Hearts lore, everything is beginning to weave itself towards the next Kingdom Hearts game. So all of their little side games and everything have pointed towards what they would be doing in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's going to be big. They got a bigger, better villain who's going to come back. They got the past Keyblade holders who are there.
Oh,
It's exciting.
I only played the second.
That one was fun. That one was very fun.
And then I think I broke it because I went to Simba Land and my guy wasn't a Simba.
Oh.
Good evening. I am Carl Weatherbottom,
And I'm Jericho Newsman.
and we are bringing you today's headlines. Would you like to go first, Jericho?
Another news today. In first news today, bird inflation is incredibly out of hand. That's right, there are an incredible number of birds. Carl?
Studies have shown that being rich is not cheap. Startling news shows that being poor is crazy affordable. This is real news. I took these from actual headlines from a CNN, Jericho.
Thank you. Thanks, Carl. Because of bird inflation, a bird in hand is now worth 3 in the bush. Jericho? That's me. Carl?
Thank you, Jericho. I'm Carl.
I know that. I'm very professional. I just wanted to
lob
lob it to myself before
Okay.
passing it to you.
Weatherbottom.
Carl
Hitchhiking robot now halfway across Canada. Boxcar hobo robot now in development.
Do you know the first rule of news, Carl? Is that you pass it off when you're done.
Oh, back to you, Jericho.
Where did you? I went to Harvard to study news.
I went to that VCR repair place.
They're a great place.
They are.
Jericho?
I got 5 degrees in journalism. They're just as useful as 1 degree from Harvard.
Degree inflation. Speaking of inflation, back to bird inflation. Because of bird inflation, killing 4 birds is now very common with 1 stone. Carl?
Studies show global obesity is on the rise. America did it first, you dang dirty hipsters. Back to you, Jericho.
There's nothing I can do. They cut my mic until you say my name.
I'm sorry.
They apparently don't cut yours. Jericho? Yes, thank you.
You are Jericho, yes.
I talk to a mirror. It's right here in front of me. Hello.
Well, I wouldn't blame you with that face. You got a sweet face.
I know I do. Look at it every morning and I think, man, that's sweeter than a cinnamon roll.
Man, that is a guy I would call Jericho Newsman.
Jericho Newsman. Jericho, yes, because back to our story on bird inflation. Bird inflation has gotten so out of hand that flipping the bird requires the whole hand. Carl?
Thank you, Jericho. New dating app for dogs. I don't really have a punchline. Back to you, Jericho.
Breaking news on the bird front. Bird is no longer the word, but because of bird inflation, bird is the word. Back to you, Carl Weatherbottom.
Thank you, Jericho. Russians mock Obama with laser show. President begrudgingly calls it pretty dope, I guess. That has been the news.
I've got one more.
Oh, you do?
You just gonna cut me off? This is the feature story.
Oh, Jericho, what is our feature story?
Ending us off tonight on a happier note. Many have taken bird inflation into their own hands, said one resident, quote, I tall a putty tat.
That is something to think about.
Indeed. Once again, I'm Carl News. I'm not Carl.
No,
I'm
you're
Jericho
Jericho.
Newsman.
We've been saying
I,
your name all day.
I sometimes I wake up and wish I were you, Carl.
Yeah, I never get that.
Uh,
I don't have that problem.
well, it's usually one of those Freaky Friday scenarios where I wake up and I think, man, that was a terrible remake.
It was. It was. I didn't like the original either.
Um, understandably,
That and
understandably,
Doctor Doolittle.
The original Doctor Doolittle did go on for what seemed like forever.
It was 4 VHS tapes.
It, I'm sorry.
It was 4 VSH tapes.
They were so bad that they were VSH, not VHS.
What,
They were out of hand.
And two in the bush. This is Carl Weatherbottom.
And Jericho Newsman.
Signing off.
Good night. And
sleep tight.
Oh man, that was some breaking news reports we got there.
Yeah,
that was
two.
Wow, cutting edge. Pulitzer, get these guys some of your awards
or more degrees.
Yeah,
they deserve that at least.
Yeah, I mean VHS repair, VSH repair.
Yeah, these guys do it all.
They do everything except go to Harvard. Not that
one of them
snobbery.
Does.
One of them does. Yeah, not that there's snobbery, but it sounds like everybody who goes to Harvard likes to lord that over people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't say, "Hey, I went to McDonald's."
Yeah, I don't brag about my. I wish I were at Harvard.
I wish I could afford it.
I wish I were Frasier.
So next week, because I did the Pokemon quiz, we didn't have a drama or anything. We just had the Pokemon quiz.
Yeah.
But next week, you're going to be in charge of all that.
I'm going to be in charge of all this. Do you have a challenge?
Yes. I want you to somehow incorporate a Western.
Yeah. You want me to do a Western?
I want you to do a Western.
Yeah, I could do a Western. I think that'd be good. All right.
I don't know next time we'll meet because we're moving.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll be soon. And hopefully all of you listeners out there have liked this podcast thing.
Like, comment, subscribe, Google, YouTube, Twitter. These are websites.
Bing. Actually, don't Bing.
Yahoo, which those two are very similar, okay?
Yeah. One you drink and one makes you not drink.
Yeah, pretty much.
Drink more. I don't know.
Yahoo is like the worst drink.
Yeah.
All this to say, thanks for listening, and
we really appreciate it that you would take time to listen to us.
To our beautiful voices. I'm trying to think of a way to sign this.
What a beautiful voice.
Oh, your voice, it's so beautiful.
I just love the way you say words.
It's the way that you pronunciate. That's what makes it wonderful.
We are the best radio people forever. Thank you for listening to us be idiots. And we will see you next time.
Oh. Well, we won't see you, but you will listen to us. Catch you then.
That's our catchphrase now.
Catch you. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the drowsies destroy your dreams.
Don't let them get near you.
Don't let them devour your childhood innocence.
Goodbye.
From now on, it's gonna just be nonstop jokes about ducks. So a duck walks into a bar, a bartender, and he asks the bartender, "Do you have any grapes?" And the bartender's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, you kind of ruined this joke. It's gonna just keep coming back." And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was a joke. I'm trying to run a business here. I mean, it's a bar, yeah, but we also sell grapes. It's kind of great."
By the way, we're recording right now.
That was. We'll fix it in post.